Hi, welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy and I'm your host. And I'm coming to you from a gray Toronto day, which has little bits of peaks of sunshine coming out here and there. I think it's actually the Santa Claus parade today. It's November 19th and Toronto has a very large Santa Claus parade that happens. And I think that's happening today downtown, not too far from here, but far enough away we won't see the floats go by, but close enough that if I wanted to go, I could. But I think I'd rather stay here with you and talk about knitting. As I said, my name is Tracy. I am Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. And if you are a brand new viewer to the podcast, welcome. I hope that you have a cup of tea and some knitting or a craft of choice, and that you've got a few minutes to sit down with me and check out what I've got to share. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And you will be saying right now, Tracy, this isn't the Comfy Red Couch. What is going on? And I will say to you, this is my office. I've changed location for the day. And I brought a little bit of red with me over my shoulder so that I've got that sort of comfy red couch feel. But today I thought I would actually film from my office today. And there is no Michael Scott, and there is no Dwight Schrute. There is definitely no Pam or Jim, just me. And there is definitely no George Foreman grill in this office. But this is my office that, if you are a returning viewer, I talked about in August that I was trying to get it cleaned up a little bit, and I got it to about there. And then my holidays ended, and as holidays end, oftentimes plans sort of get thrown to the wayside. So since I've been homesick a few days, I just had a little bit of energy yesterday and decided to start doing some straightening. And my big goal was to get my computer moved up to this office space. It had been here before, but during our renovation, we moved it downstairs. And now that I've sort of got this room settled again, I'm just so happy to bring my computer back upstairs. It's a nice, cozy room. And I was finding on the main floor when I was editing the podcast, my toes were getting really quite cold. So I'm happy to be in my cozy little room where I can edit podcasts and I can do things that I need to do on the computer as well. And it's just a nice little space. Unfortunately, the lighting is really horrible in here, especially at nighttime. And there's not a lot of outlets for lights, and the ceiling light is not very good. So one of my goals over the next year is to find and put up a nice overhead light that makes the space bright and easy to work in. I would love to sit in here and knit, but it does get, as I said, dark at nighttime, and there are no outlets on this side of the wall. And there's a fireplace over to the side with brick wall on this side here, so I'm not going to be putting any lights in here anytime soon without dragging extension cords around the room, which there already are a few anyway. Anyway, this is my office, and as I said, it's been a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. If you looked over there right now, there's a pile of stuff in a laundry basket that has to be sorted through, and some of it sort of put elsewhere in the house, some of it donated. Who knows? I've left it there since August. So it's nice though, finally November, to finally feel like I've got part of my space. And if you are a returning viewer, you will also remember that I talked about my knitting room. And the past week, I was home 3 days sick. So I went into work on Monday, which was just a very bad idea. And then I stayed home Tuesday and Wednesday. I had to go in on Thursday, even though I wasn't 100%. And unfortunately, that did me in, and Friday I also stayed home. So 3 days out of the 5, I needed to take care of myself. And I did for the most part. I got lots of knitting done. The nice thing about the chest congestion, so I don't know if it's a bronchial thing or if it's a virus going around. The nice thing about it though is at least you can sort of cuddle up and drink warm things and knit, which is a great way to sort of get better while not feeling too sorry for yourself. Well, if you've got like a flu and you're, running back and forth to the bathroom, which is never a good scene, you can't really knit there, and you're often achy, and the last thing you really want to do is knit, even though your mind is saying, I want to knit, I want to knit. So at least it wasn't that kind of illness, and so I am thankful for that for sure. Anyway, I think it is time to I started talking about the upstairs third floor room, didn't I? My knitting room. So that is still a work in progress, and it was really funny because back in August, I thought I want to change all the furniture around, and I did. And it was really heavy, and as soon as it was done, I thought, I hate this. And I really was not comfortable going in the room other than to go and wind up a ball of yarn. And last weekend, I had Greg help me move the furniture back where it had been, and I just felt so much better and calmer about the whole room. And so yesterday in the afternoon, I was feeling a little bit of energy and started up there, moved down here, sort of between the two rooms. So they're both kind of getting a little bit of TLC, which is what they need. I did buy some lighting for the third floor because when you live in a 100-year-old house, lighting is not a huge thing that was put in, and definitely not ceiling lights on the third floor because it's basically an attic. So that's been one of the problems with that room. Is it's great, it's a lovely cozy room, but lighting is really quite terrible. So I brought some lamps in. There's a little bit more electricity outlets on the third floor than there are in this room, at least. So it's nice to sort of get settled, and maybe another time I'll do a location shoot from my third floor knitting room. So for now, let's get started with the podcast, and we're going to start off with tea time. And I've been very bad. I've borrowed Isaac's mug, and this is you have a special way of making people smile. And so I thought, I wanted something like that, and today I am drinking something very, very purple, and I even made a pot because I was coming upstairs, and I thought I'll make the pot in my princess mug and bring it upstairs with me so that I can refill as needed. And today I am drinking Magic Potion because I'm hoping whatever is in Magic Potion cures whatever is ailing me, because I really want to feel 100% soon, and really, who doesn't? So cheers to that. I drink out of my son's stolen mug. Yum. It is time for my favorite things, and I'm going to start off with some works in progress on my favorite things. And most, again, I can't share with you. I can just share the bags and maybe tell you a little bit about what's happening with them. But we're starting off with Nancy Drew, who got a lot of love the past few days, but she's not sharing anything. So I don't know if I ever showed this lovely little bauble on my Nancy Drew bag. It's just so cute. So anyway, my Nancy Drew bag has lots of secrets to keep, and but she did get lots of love, so she will tell you that. The next thing I'm going to share for you is living in my lovely hedgehog bag from Busy Pottering, and inside is Knit Vent 3, and it's a finished object now, so this is fantastic, and I can share my yarn for this. I can't share the project itself, but I am using Nora George, and this is The Fire Is So Delightful, and that is on her DK base. So 100% superwash, and there were 225 meters per 100 grams. So this is one skein of The Fire Is So Delightful, and as you can see, I've got quite a bit left. Actually, I have 50 grams left, so I used exactly half for the project that is in here, and I get to share this with you next week. So got to get everything all blocked, and then I can share what Knit Vent 3 is. But so being sick wasn't so bad, because not only did I get Knit Vent 3 done, and I did this on Tuesday, I got Knit Vent 4 done. And Knit Vent 4 is living in my So Sweet Violet Grouchy bag. And I tried to make Grouchy Bear a little bit happier by giving him a beautiful pink wishing ball. But he's still kind of grouchy. But he's got a finished object inside of him, so he should sort of maybe turn that frown upside down. And I'll show you the yarn for that one because I'm allowed to share the yarn. And look, again, Nora George, the fire is so delightful. And I used a second skein because I did get 2 skeins of this, but just beautiful, beautiful colorway. And it was really fun to knit up. Lots of lovely little reds and pinks and oranges and browns, even a little bit of yellow in there that was somewhat bearable. And yeah, so just a beautiful, nice DK, squishy, bouncy. And this was my finished object that I got done on Wednesday. So very productive sick days because Knit Vent 3, Knit Vent 4. So very excited that I will be able to share both of those with you next week. So got to get them both blocked and photographed and ready for Thursday for photographs. And then for the podcast next week, I'll have them ready to share with you. So I'm really, really excited about that. And not stopping there, let's go on. And this is kind of a cheat into brown paper packages, but this is what I am working on right now. This is a beautiful, beautiful bag from Elm Tree Yarns. And when I saw it, I knew that this had to be one of my Christmas bags. And it is Christmas Fairies, and I don't know if the sparkle will capture or not. So it's this on one side with gorgeous, gorgeous sparkle. And on the other side, it's these lovely winter fairies. And of course, it's this beautiful purple lavender. And I don't know if you can see, right, there's a lot of sparkle in here. I don't know if my camera will capture it, and the light, of course, is making it a little bit crazy too, but there is beautiful, oh, there's a little bit of sparkle over here somewhere. All the snowflakes have sparkle, and it is just, this bag is well made, the material is wonderful, and I was very, very lucky to be able to get this one because it is super special. And inside is not Knit Vent 5, it's Knit Vent 6. So I won't be able to share this for a couple of weeks, but I started Knit Vent 6 last night and just hitting my face with tassels. And so I'm very excited to work on this one, and I'm really loving how my yarn is knitting up. But at this point, I can't share any more details about this. I can't share any yarn yet because it's still a few off. But this bag is definitely in need of being shared. So this is what I'm working on now. This Nancy, and then all the other things that have been put on the back burner. Well, in the next couple of weeks, they'll be getting some light of day soon as well. And now let's move on to finished objects. And if you remember last week, I shared what was in here, at least the yarn that was in here, and this had been my Knit Vent 2. And I had used the Wool Kitchen in the Dancing Fireflies colorway, and it is just so beautiful. And this is all the yarn I have left, and I still have to weigh it and put it onto my Ravelry page. I had also thrown in one of my lovely little So Sweet Violet lavender sachets, and so 2 So Sweet Violet bags this week. I've been very, very lucky to be able to get both of those. And let's share with you the tulle shawl. Tulle. I think it's tulle. I was never into ballet. Anyway, the tulle shawl is Knit Vent 2 by Helen Stewart. And as you saw my yarn, I used the Wool Kitchen Dancing Fireflies. And I wanted to do something a little bit different than the one that Deb was doing and the one that Helen did. So I went with blue. Let's make sure I've got this the right way. And this is the gorgeous, gorgeous shawl that dancing fireflies knit up into. This is what it grew up into. And just such a beautiful, I love how the colors all play. It actually really reminds me of when I knit the last Shawl Society, the familiar shawl. I used some alpaca and I held it double with the hedgehog fibers down by the river in kid silk lace, and it sort of had these sort of colors in it as well. But this one I didn't hold double. This one was just the yarn on its own, and if you can see, there are some beads in here, and I'll talk about those in a moment. And there are also beads all through the garter section. So every few rows this way, there are beads, and every few stitches there are beads. And so this is the beautiful, beautiful shawl. That is the tulle shawl, which is Knit Vent 2 for this year's Knit Vent. So a beautiful shawl, and very elegant. And I have an idea of who I'm going to gift this to, but I'm not 100% sure because of other things. But this will be a gift shawl, and I know that the person who I would like to gift this to would really, really appreciate it. So, and that's always important, to make sure whoever is going to be the recipient loves it. So this is beautiful lace and very simple, and I said I would talk about the beads. So I used these lovely little amethyst beads, and they are Miyuki size 6 amethyst lined crystals, and they're just very, let's see if it focuses. No, it doesn't want to focus. Why would it ever want to focus? Just very simple, shiny little beads. They don't stick out too much in this shawl, which is kind of nice. It's just got that little bit of glitter that makes you kind of go, oh, was that a bead I saw? And I just used a crochet hook to put these on. That's now my preferred method. As I talked about way, many episodes ago, I used to use a wire. Now I just find I load up my crochet hook with 4 or 5 beads and just load up every once in a while. Georgina, who is a faithful watcher of the podcast and almost always has a comment in the comment section below the video, and I really appreciate that. Georgina said to me, Tracy, you should use the little David tea holders. These are the ones that held my magic potion for one today that I'm having, but these are the ones that will be in the advent calendars and were in my Halloween house as well. And what I've done is she had said put some knitting things in it, and I thought that's a great idea. And what I did with this one, and maybe I shouldn't do that or I'll have them everywhere, is I put my beads in here. Can you imagine opening that and having beads all over the carpet after cleaning this room? That would not be good. Anyway, so I put my beads in here, and I just sort of scoop them up every once in a while. It was a great little container to have beside me. So Georgina, thank you for the idea of reusing these tins for holding knitting things, because it was a really great idea, and using it for beads is fantastic. Other things that I've used are the containers that Apple products come in. So our iPod came in a little tiny plastic holder, and it's great to pour beads in there as well. It's got a lid that sort of snaps on, so not quite as secure as something that twists on and hopefully stays more secure, but also a really great place, especially if you've got lots of beads that you're going to be doing. This one holds a lot, but as I said, it was a little bit more difficult than the Apple, but really great to help organize and keep off to the side. And it would be fantastic for those beautiful, beautiful stitch markers and other things. So I think I will have to figure out as I go through my advent calendar what I'm going to use them for. So, but a really great idea. So thank you, Georgina, and hello, Georgina. I should have said hello first. Oh, the next thing I have to share on the podcast is a finished object. And this is a very special finished object. and one that I think maybe I talked about like very, very, very long ago, like on super early episodes of the podcast, because I remember sharing the yarn a little bit for it, but I haven't talked too much about this project because it was a test knit that I did. And I have permission from the designer to share this test knit because I want to wear them. And what I want to wear are these lovely, lovely socks. And this is a design by Tracy of Nora George. And when she had put some photos on Instagram out there, I had to contact her right away and I said, please, 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 can I test this design? And I had just received my first delivery of some Nora George yarns, and this is the Molly Weasley colorway, which I know I have shared on the podcast before because I've used it for the toes on the socks that I made for Isaac. So his brown socks that I made way back when. I had made these beforehand because that was the leftover yarn. So this is the Molly Weasley on Super Sock, and this is a design that Tracy has made. And I guess right now Tracy's not sure if she's going to release it for various reasons, and I think she should. But I'm just so happy that I finally get to share them because now I can wear them. And so it's got these beautiful little eyelets going down, and at the top there's just a little bit of a different type of eyelet, sort of flowery detail, and then a lovely stretchy cuff. And these were done from top down and Kitchener stitch toe. And just look at the lovely colors in Molly Weasley. Now I know that Tracy has recently changed up the Molly Weasley colorway a bit, but I really do love this original Molly Weasley. Just that orange, because the Weasley's just orange. So fantastic. So anyway, I was so excited that Tracy said I could finally share these socks with you. And now I get to wear them because they're perfect for the fall as well. So pretty. I like the detail. I hope that she does release the pattern. And anyway, in the meantime, I have a finished object that I'm finally able to share, and I think it's been done since, I think, March or April, so it's been a while coming. So I'm so excited to finally put these in my sock drawer, and I think tomorrow when I go to work, I need to wear these. So, and that is all I have to share for my favorite things this week. Okay, now, nice full cup, and we're going to quickly go through the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along. So the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along is still going strong. It started October 1st and ends December 20th, and it is either knitting the Oracle full pie, the Oracle half pie, or any magically themed shawl that you can think of. So for example, Helen Stewart in the Shawl Society 2, there were a lot of magically themed shawls because the whole collection was based on magic. And I think there's even a couple that sort of had that magic sort of theme in the Shawl Society 1. So any of those are eligible as long as they are a 2 to 3 skein shawl. And so if you want to do Fairy Hill, you have to do the large size, not the small size. But you are definitely welcome to join in the fun. And if you want to double dip, there's another cowl going on. I know that right now Kristen is doing the half pie as a cowl in her thread. And of course, if you're doing the Oracle half pie, you definitely need to enter that one, but enter the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along too as well. That's always a good thing. If you can do more than one object and get it all finished, you are welcome to go in twice if you'd like, and there are fabulous prizes. I did not bring the prizes upstairs with me today to film, but I will quickly summarize what they are. And Danny of Little Bobbins will be creating a lovely Spirit of Autumn bag for us, and I'm so excited to see photos when she's got that ready to go. And there is a lovely colorway called Spirit of Autumn that Sarah of Cauldron of Colors has dyed up for us. And there is also a skein of Boo Radley from Nora George Yarns that is another prize. So 3 prizes for 3 lucky winners. And there are a couple things that will be going in with the yarn one. So I'll be sending off the 2 yarn prizes, and Danny will send off the bag prize. And the yarny prizes will also have a couple of little goodies added in there. There may be some David's tea. There may be a couple of other things too that will remain a surprise. But in the meantime, keep knitting, and hopefully you'll get those entries in soon and join in the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along. Brown paper packages time. And the interesting thing about brown paper packages is I actually only received 1 package this week. But because I'd sort of been hoarding some packages for those days where it was supposed to get a little bit slower, on my Tuesday sick day, I opened 2 of those packages. So I'm going to share those with you today. And in fact, I've already shared one, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. But the one package that I did receive this week was from So Sweet Violet. And I have 2 of the contents in my hair, these lovely little butterflies from So Sweet Violet. And I think I need like 1,000 more. And I'm just imagining when I put these in, just like some pretty little bridesmaid, just all the blonde curly hair, just with all these little butterflies holding these up. I just think they are absolutely adorable. And they're fabric butterflies that are sewn onto a bobby pin. And they stay in my hair really, really nicely. I popped them in. I actually didn't open it till yesterday, which was Saturday, although I received it on Friday, but I was a little bit scattered. So I really want to, when I open my package, really be in a good frame of mind. And I was just very bouncy on Friday. And anyway, so Saturday I opened this up and I popped them in my hair and went about doing some cleaning. And then I looked in the mirror a little later and went, oh yes, I put these in. And I really had a good look at them, but aren't they just adorable? And I believe Jules makes these with Liberty Fabrics. And these are the Christmas ones. And I got them when I ordered my bunting. Now, yesterday I did put my bunting on the wall, so I'm going to have to pop some photographs in so that you can see my bunting. And I put it up in my 3rd floor craft room. So Jules was very integral in getting my cleanup sort of mojo started. So thank you for that, Jules. And I love my bunting. It is so cute. And as I said, I'm going to put up some photographs. I've got it sort of dangling right over the chair that I knit by when I'm up on my 3rd floor, and I've got much better lighting up there now. So that is a space that I will be, especially once winter settles in a bit more, maybe hanging out in a little bit more, because that's what it's meant for. It's a nice craft room. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put in all of the 24 pockets that are in the bunting because it is an Advent bunting, but I will figure it out. I also thought about taking the little clips with the stitch markers that are on Jane's Hedgerow Yarns. Sometimes she puts them in a package. So I think I'm going to put some of those clips with the beautiful sparkly stitch markers on my bunting so that I've got just little things that remind me of all of the lovely makers that I love to chat with and love all of their wonderful homemade things. So just sort of feel like I've got some friends around me as I'm up in my 3rd floor. So I am loving how it looks in there. It's starting to really feel like a space that I want to sit down and knit. And now that I've got some better lighting in there, hopefully we'll start to do so a little bit more often. I did open a couple of packages that I had sort of kept aside, and I'm going to share those with you now. So I did share this already, my beautiful fairy bag from Elm Tree Yarns, and Diane did such a great job making this. But along with this, inside was this beautiful little mini scale with bells on, and just a fun colorway. Matches my bag really, really well. but I've had to pop it out for now because, of course, Knit Vent 6 is in here. So this will go off to the side, and I'm not sure, it's really sparkly, and I'm not sure what I'm going to make with it, but it's just so cute. Too cute. The next thing I have to share with you is a bag that I bought from Sandy by the lakeside. And Sandy lives not too far from me, actually. She lives in Ajax, which is maybe a half an hour, 40-minute drive from downtown Toronto, which is where I am. And I saw this in the shop, and I've been wanting a by the lakeside bag for a little bit, and I'm so glad I was able to get this. And this is the Alice in Wonderland print, and this is actually gold, so where it may look brown, it's actually a shiny gold. And it is a lovely, lovely bag with a fun little tassel on the end. And inside, some lovely black polka dots. So it's finally nice to have a by the lakeside bag, especially when the maker lives so close and we're on the same side of the lake. So always a good thing. The next thing I have to share is from Yarn Magpie, and it is another project bag. I know I've got on a real project bag tear, and I think I'll probably use this one a little bit more in the spring, but it is cute, cute owls. And there is on the zipper pull a cute little owl pull. And when you open it up, there is lovely pink polka dots inside, because who doesn't love pink polka dots? And in here came this beautiful little mini, and this one is called Hippie Chick. And just beautiful spring, sparkly, and definitely perfect for, you know, March when I'm feeling a little bit restless, and maybe in February. I like that bright shot of color in February. Another wonderful thing that was in that parcel was a skein of yarn, and it is glorious. And this is called I Want to Be a Unicorn. And yes, there is yellow in here, but look, there's blue and green and pink, and of course purple, and all these beautiful, beautiful colors. So it's not just yellow. If you're new to the podcast, I really don't like yellow, but I can handle this. So this is I Want to Be a Unicorn, and I was drawn to all of the lovely pastel-y rainbow colors, which are all blowing out right now. But the name was the thing that got me. So anyway, that is a beautiful little package that I received from Yarn Magpie. And back into here, I think this will be perfect for a February-March knit when I'm starting to feel a bit of the winter doldrums and I'm looking for some brightness to escape the winter madness that is snow in Toronto. I have two more things to share on brown paper packages, and those are stitch markers. And the first is Sucra Miniatures, and these are the adorable cupcakes, Hogwarts cupcakes, and they have little sorting hats, and inside each cupcake is one of the house colors. So there is Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. Isaac is Ravenclaw. And there is Gryffindor as well. And then my little Slytherin is at the back underneath, hiding. And I've got to do some crinkly magic because you've got to see these because they're just too cute. And my Slytherin, because I am a proud Slytherin, it's not that bad. There's my little sorting hat and my cute little cupcake. And that is, look at the sparkles on the top. Yum. Anyway, so this is my cute little Sucra miniature, and it's got the rose gold as the clasp because I love rose gold. And I've had these actually for a little while, but I've sort of kept them aside. And aren't they just too cute? That little sorting hat. As I mentioned earlier, in my house, almost all of the Hogwarts houses are represented. So Isaac is a Ravenclaw, Greg is a Gryffindor, I am a Slytherin. Nathaniel's not quite 11 yet, so I will not let him sort until he's 11 because that's the rules, right? You can't be sorted until you're 11. Anyway, so we will get him sorted when he turns 11 and we'll figure out what house he is. He's thinking he's a Hufflepuff because, you know, it sort of seems like it would be equal representation of all the houses. So still 3 years off, but we'll see how that goes. And he's actually really getting into Harry Potter. He's been sitting down and reading, and he's in the middle of Prisoner of Azkaban, and he's got his lovely little, he's got his own little butterfly clip. I've got mine, he's got his. So he is in the middle of Talons and Tea Leaves. So we're also on the wait list for the audiobook, so it's kind of nice to sit and listen to the audiobook, and apparently I can't put this back. We're also on the wait list for the audiobook for The Prisoner of Azkaban, so I'm looking forward to, I think we were number 13 yesterday, so out of 25 copies at the Toronto Public Library, so we'll be sitting down listening to that. I'll do some knitting, he'll do some listening, and then once he has read, and he often reads along while it's being read to him, which is really nice. And once he's done that, then he's allowed to watch the third movie. So he's seen the first and the second and has been watching them ad nauseum, and now is really getting into the third. So he, on Friday night, was watching Katie and Emrys doing Vlogtober, and I think he's watched it a gazillion times, and he now wants to go to Harry Potter World, and he already loves Disney, but yes, he loves Katie of Inside Number 23, but don't tell anybody I told you that. He loves her so much. Anyway, I also got these gorgeous little progress keepers from Tilting Planets, and Tracy of Nora George enabled me on this purchase. And then I got a lovely little glitter star wishing ball. So I really enjoyed putting my wish ball on my Grouchy Bear. That's my So Sweet Violet one. And they actually make really great pulls on bags. So I think some of my progress keepers are going to end up on some of my bags being a little bit more of a pull as well. So something fun to add. So anyway, that is brown paper packages this week. And even though I've sort of popped my bells back in here, my fringe bag is empty. Oh, speaking of fringe bags, they came out with new colorways. Yes, I bought one. You'll see it in a couple weeks. It's been a long while, but it is time to get serious. Every year around this time, you know, starting in December, leading kind of in January, but mainly December, we start hearing about the word of the year. And for the past 2 years, I have chosen a word. And 2 years ago, this is the first time I had heard about this whole choosing a word of the year and, you know, something that your mantra for the year. So 2 years ago, it was appreciation. And that worked fairly well. You know, I was able to try and appreciate things that I could and situations I was in, and try and put a positive spin on things. So appreciation was a pretty good word for me. Last year, late December, I chose a word. By June, I had apparently completely forgotten it, and I actually had to go back and check my emails to find out what my word was because I had forgotten it. Finally, in September, I dug through my emails just to confirm what my word was because I thought I remembered, but I wasn't 100% sure. My word was moderation. Yeah, I would say moderation went out the door probably in February. I completely forgot my word, so that doesn't really help very much. So I would say moderation has not been my word this year. And I got to really think about what word I'm going to be picking for next year. For 2018, I'm kind of thinking on the lines of gratitude or grace or gracious, something along those lines where I'm able to really realize my blessings and appreciate them. So not quite full appreciation, but being very grateful for the things that I have in my life. So my family, all of the wonderful friends that I have, and of course the yarn stash that's upstairs, because really who couldn't be grateful for that? It's a gorgeous stash, and I really need to start knitting through it a little bit faster. Unfortunately, there's no word for knit faster that can translate into a word of the year, but I'm thinking along the lines of gratitude. So for now, apparently moderation just did not work for me. Not only did it go out the window, it went down the street, across the block, across the country, maybe even across the ocean, across the universe, because yeah, that wasn't my word apparently. Anyway, that is my true confession. This week on Bits and Bobs, I have sort of covered part of that in my opening, where not feeling all that well. So it's been a bit of a struggle this week with lots of congestion and coughing and not feeling 100%. However, it did help with some personal stuff, so some knitting and just sort of needing to take that time for myself, because I know that when I get run down, my body will shut down. So I have to learn to take that time for myself, or it does get worse in the long run. So it was hard taking 3 days off, but I know the world will go on without me, and it just keeps on spinning. And sometimes I just have to step off and let it keep spinning and actually recuperate so that I can then jump on, as long as it's not hopefully going too fast. I've been doing some work in the office. I've been doing some work on the 3rd floor. I've been doing lots of knitting. That's pretty much all been covered. Oftentimes in the week I think, oh, that'll be great for Bits and Bobs. And then when it comes to recording this part of the podcast, whoosh, out of my brain it goes. Kind of like moderation. The word moderation went out my brain. So I guess the boys, Isaac's starting to prepare for his show in December at school. Nathaniel brought home a really good report card, and Greg met with the teacher on Friday morning, so that's all going well. And of course, Scout and Tasha are both doing fine, and when I'm downstairs on the comfy red couch, oftentimes Scout is behind me, but this blue-green rocking chair, she's not there now. I'm sure if she could, she'd try and get behind me, but she won't be popping up today. Instead, there's a pillow behind me. And Tasha, I think, is probably having a lovely little sleep up on the 3rd floor, probably on my pillow, having a nice snooze like she likes to do. But both of them are elsewhere doing whatever they do during the day, which is mainly sleep. But anyway, that is all for Bits and Bobs. Not a terribly exciting week, but always a week that passes by quickly. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of The Office. Unfortunately, I don't have a George Foreman grill. I do, however, have a Cuisinart griddler. Bacon, anybody? Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast this week. As always, I appreciate your time, and I hope that you've had a chance to sit, maybe have a nice beverage out of a borrowed mug like I have, and work on your project of choice. You've had that relax, refresh time, and you're ready for a week ahead. I wish you a happy and healthy week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Bye. to share a secret with you. This week, I did something super special. I trained butterflies. I trained them to come when they're called. I've trained them to land on my head and actually pull my hair back so I can see better. And I've trained them not to flutter. And look what a great job they're doing. I mean, I can't even get Scout to come when I call her half the time. Butterfly training. What a way to spend a sick week.